One of my biggest enemies as a hardy AROID gardener is slugs, and you can see here this one was decimated within a few days of going out. This is an arum chameleon, and that's what it should look like. These are the same age, and this one just disappeared in a couple of days. Now, I don't use any of this kind of garbage, so these blue pellets or this slug horrible slimy stuff. What I use is the method I'm going to show you in this video. Like a lot of gardeners, the AROID gardener has the same kind of pressures and problems. So the big one, the one that we all face, is this. So these are snails, and as you can see there, this is an arum pictum. They've absolutely devastated that one that's gone in the ground about a month ago. So there was actually one a bit further along, was down here, and that's gone completely. So that was an arum chameleon, and they've completely decimated that. Now, they don't do everything. So for example, arum italicum, they don't seem to touch. Cyclamen, they don't seem to touch. These are all arum italicum. They don't touch a lot of the colocasia. This is colocasia pink. You can see that it's got slugs all over it. So this is colocasia pink China. They don't seem to touch that, or calla lilies, the Xanthodecia, and as I say, all the different types of arum italicum seem to survive. But look at this, you know that these are hosta, and these just don't survive at all. So we need a way to deal with these things. So the first one I used to try was chemicals. These are two that I've tried a couple of times, and I'm going to be honest, neither of them work. So the first one is this, and I'll pour some out and show you. So this is supposed to be a slug defense, and it comes out with this horrible slimy stuff, and apparently they don't like it. But do you know what? They don't even bother with it. They just go straight through it or go around it if they can. And obviously in a garden it's difficult to control, so that doesn't work. I've also tried this one, so let me just open this and I'll show you. I think you know what this is. This one I absolutely hate. So this is this horrible blue stuff. I'll pour a bit out because I'm going to throw it in the bin. But you get these horrible blue granules, and one, I don't actually know if they work properly anyway, and two, I don't like poisoning stuff in the land, so I stopped using these after the first go of using them. But as you can see, everywhere you look, I am losing, certainly hostas, they just eat all of them. But now that they're starting to eat my more delicate arums, I decided this year I was going to do something about it. And this is what I decided to do. So I tried all kinds of different plastic containers, and I did things like burying the tubs in the ground. And I tried big containers, square containers, and this is the one that works the best. Now, I don't bury them in the ground anymore, simply because it's hard to see what you're catching and killing, and also it's hard to change the liquid. So I decided that round and very, very cheap, so these were a £1.75 for about 5 of them, and they come with a lid, plastic lid, any deli cup or any clear cup. It needs to be clear because you need to see what's in there. And then take the lid off and simply snip one side or two sides, depending on what you want, and tuck that inwards like so. Don't tuck it out like that because then it catches rain. So you want it in and just bend it so it forms like a lip, so that the idea is that the slugs can just squeeze in this bit here, and you're not going to get too much of it filling up with rainwater. I've done it on both sides there. And then the lid goes on top, and basically what they do is they smell what's in there, they come in, and I have no idea why, but they just get absolutely smashed and fall in. And I'll show you some full ones in a minute. Now, what do we put in there? So I tried Guinness, too expensive, what a waste, would never do that again. And the big thing about dark brown beer is you can't see what's in it, so don't use any dark brown beer of any kind. Don't try cider. You would think that sweet cider would work, so I tried red cider, none of that worked. I didn't catch a single slug, and I settled on lager. So I didn't go for Stella, I didn't go for anything expensive because that would be ridiculous. So I just bought a load of the cheapest possible lager I could find. So this was £2.50 for about 4 or 5 of them, I think 4 of them, obviously not 5.
and it's just any kind of lager. And it's lager because, one, you want the yeast in it. So beer would be fine, but you can't see through it. And lager's clearish, and it's yeasty, and it's cheap. So I basically just bought a load of these and then open them up and basically just pour in each of the containers. I just pour in about a quarter per container. Let the froth go away over a few minutes, and then just pop that out in the garden. So what I generally try to do is either A, put it near something that needs it. So if I put it near a plant that's gonna that gets a lot of slugs, that works. But also what I sometimes do is just pop it underneath like so, and just leave it there all the time, and just top it up whenever it's full of slugs. And honestly, you know, don't buy any other commercial products or anything for slugs, because this does better than anything you could possibly want. So, and I'll give you an example. So here's one. This is this week's alone. So I've left this one right at this end where it's quite messy over here because I'm working on it, but this is what you get. And I have no idea why it works, but they just kamikaze themselves into it, and they, you know, it just fills up with slugs. And then the great thing about this is you can just take that and then just tip it into your waste, whatever your waste is. I just pop it into the back of the woods here, and it just rots down with everything else. And then just give it a swill out, top it back up with beer, and you're on your way. Now if you want to, what you can do is you can just hide it in with rocks and things like that, so it doesn't mess up the look of the aesthetics of your garden. And as you can see with my AROID garden, you can't really see them because they're all, generally speaking, they're hidden. There's some like this where you've got, you know, quite open, but I wanted this one here because I was getting some attacks on here. And again, one thing that you can do that does work is if you have a very specific plant that's getting attacked. So for example, if I was having problems with this particular arum here, what I would do is before I plant it out, I would put it on top of one of these pots for a day or two and just see what happens. So one, I'd see how many slugs turn into there, and two, I'd see if they get onto it. Now obviously Arum Italicum, as I've said, doesn't take any damage anyway. It's very, very resistant to slugs, but there are others. For example, Arum Chameleon. Now this one is a much more delicate leafed arum, and it's actually much more like a lettuce is how I think of it. And this is what happened to this one, the same plant, the same age. This one was planted out for about 3 days. So I brought it back into the greenhouse to work on it and bring it back. Now, as you can see, it hasn't killed it forever because it's coming back, but I lost all of the foliage. I mean, I do get the odd one here in the greenhouse. I get the odd one that gets through, and they go for very specific ones. So that one's another arum that gets it, Centennicii, and that seems to get it a little bit. But generally speaking, all of the arum that I bought recently, all inside are all fine. I'm not getting too many slug problems inside, and certainly nothing that wasn't already there on the leaf like that one when I got it. But yeah, it's probably the best way of eradicating slugs that I've found. Yeah, we're quite used to quite a bad slug problem here because we do live in a wood, at the back of a little wood, and it's very, very damp and mossy, so we do get a lot of slugs here, but that's how I deal with them.
I hope you're enjoying these videos now, and if you are, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we've got lots of content coming through this year. This is the new greenhouse, and we've got lots of things coming to the end of the season now, but as the new season starts next year in 2023, there'll be lots of these coming through and lots of hardy aroids to share and for you to look at with me. So have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you soon.